I'd like to get a motion to convene a special meeting on May 28th, 2020, to discuss quotes for sneeze guards and flooring.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
He knows we're without a secretary.
Yeah.
So who will believe you, John, that we didn't?
Yeah, I know.
So,
I know.
I
Okay,
think you guys
let's start.
okay, I'm gonna start with the sneeze guards from Hildress. That's the one that's coming in at 7,400. We had reached out to a bunch of companies over the last couple of weeks, and we realized pretty quickly that everybody has bought sneeze guards. So one, if you're looking for something to invest in plastics, because there's going to be a run on this stuff really soon. Two, a lot of the companies that usually do this, and AJ Kropp is the one who comes to mind, he does a lot of library work. He actually, when I spoke to him, he laughed and said he wouldn't even come out and give us a quote because he's so far behind with all the other libraries and schools that there's no way he would get to us. So then we started scrambling and calling up a couple different people. Sal had seen on one of the Port Jeff Facebook groups of a salon that had the sneeze guards put in for the different booths. So he came out and gave us a quote. He wanted to do some freestanding. He was a little cheaper than Hildress, but at the end of the day, I just didn't like his plan. It was freestanding. I don't think it would have looked as good. And there was the risk of like a mom with a 3-year-old in her arms and the kid grabbing and coming down. So then the next day, Hildress came in. And we worked with Hildress before. They've been always pretty fair to library. They're always a little bit more expensive, but they do quality work. They've done work for us in the past. So he came, and then he actually called down the owner to go over different things because we have curved desks, in teen. It basically makes a 90-degree turn at one point. So they came and we're here for a good 2.5 hours and investigated every single desk, talking about what to do, where to put it. It was a very thorough investigation is the best way to put it. I left that meeting thinking that they were going to be the one because I liked the questions they asked. I liked how they approached it. They were concerned about where to put it in terms of should it be on the inside of the desk or the outside of the desk, what would work best for our patrons.
Tom, let me stop you real quick. Karen is saying that she needs to be led into the meeting.
Yep. So I thought I checked that everybody can come in. I'm going to cancel that waiting room thing.
Okay,
There
as
we
far
go.
as him is concerned, everything that I've ever done with Hildress, they've always done the best quality stuff, and they're extraordinarily reliable.
Yeah. Everybody heard Carl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Hildress has been great.
Yeah.
There's all the years that I've ever worked with them.
So what we like about Hildress is it's going to be attached on the inside of the desks. So the platform will be accessible by the patrons. And that means that the patrons could put their items down along with their barcode. And we're pretty sure our staff will be able to scan everything without having to actually touch the books or the cards. We kind of like that. We also like that it's going to be attached with screws so that it will not be able to be ripped down by anybody if anybody falls into it. We won't have to worry about, a 46-inch long piece of Lexan basically crashing down on some little kid's head. So the only thing that we were worried about was the price. We weren't quite sure. So yesterday, I believe, or the day before, I just went to WB Mason. I picked out one of their sneeze guards that they have on sale. It was a 36-inch one, and I believe it came in at around $290 for 36 inches. So I went back and measured our desks, did my math. Of course, I'm a librarian, so I do it 3 times to make sure I did it right. And then with that came in, the price for the sneeze guards came in at $6,100 before install. And again, they were freestanding. So I felt better that it seemed like Hildress was not trying to take us to the bank on the price of the install. So I met with the COVID response team last night. We talked about it, and we felt that this was a good way to go. Because it's over $6,000, we need a board motion to do so. You guys have any questions, concerns about going with Hildress on this?
Just curious, what fund does the money come out of?
I was talking to Chris today. This one's probably going to come out of buildings and grounds. We have money in that line. And when we get to the carpet and the replacement of the carpet, that'll be a different fund because that's a lot more expensive. But right now, we have 2 different lines that we could pull it from that would easily take this without any problem. Yeah, it could be building improvements, buildings and grounds. We have a couple different ones. Furniture and supply, they're all kind of ripe right now because we really haven't ordered anything in 3 months.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But they're all accessible. They're no problem.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that you didn't mention, Tom, was the reason why we had to meet today is because there's, as you mentioned, there is a run on the materials, and if we don't do this in a timely fashion, we could be waiting until August or September to get the materials needed. That's why we called this special meeting so that we could move forward quickly,
Right.
get the materials that we need and get it done.
Yeah, let's go, yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, and then the other motion is for all the carpets in the building. Now, this one's a big one. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look it over, but we were talking last week or the week before, and we couldn't decide if carpets would be beneficial for the virus or not. We kind of came to the decision that it's a risk to have the carpets in the building when this virus is still floating around. So we called a couple of guys to see if they can come out and quote, and most of the small guys can't handle a project of this size because we have a lot of carpet still on the first floor. So we turned to our old friends at Milburn who have done libraries and schools. That's their main bread and butter. We were a little hesitant actually because we had a kind of a snafu when we went to quote out the meeting rooms. The Milburn salesperson, and Val could attest to this, was a little bit of a ditz is the best way to put it. So luckily we did not get her again. We got a very nice guy. I'm pretty sure he was one of the owners. He came out and measured everything. We gave him one of the architect drawings of the measurements, so he knew how many square foot each room was exactly. And he did say it was going to be expensive, and we said, we know. I said, we want to see where it is. We want to see, how it's going to go, how it's going to be. So he came back with two quotes. One originally, which I did not give to you, it was for a material that was a little bit subpar than the stuff we put in the meeting room. And then he gave us a quote for the stuff that we use in the meeting room, called Cortec. His first quote for Cortec was over 120, I believe. He got back to us 2 days later and said, wait a minute, I can get you on the state contract. I forgot to do that. And then he gave the quote I sent out to you guys, which I believe is at 97. And that's only $3,000 more than it would have been for the other materials. So I figured you should get the higher end stuff, especially for the main floor. It's going to be high traffic. A lot of people are going to be walking over it. So our thoughts were doing this was that there's no way Brian, our custodian, would be able to clean the rugs every night and sanitize them and have them dry the next day. So now not only we're worried about COVID, but now we're worried about mold, mildew, all that kind of stuff going on. These floors, we're going to get a steamer thing. He could just actually, within an hour, he could have every single piece of floor cleaned at the end of the night or the beginning of the morning for the next one. So we felt it was important to bring to the board, to you guys, to say that I know this is a big, huge bill, but we think it's important. Now's the time to strike. The building is empty for the most part. We can bring in staff to empty the shelves and hopefully move the stacks so that he can put stuff where the stacks are. We just put them back when we're done, so that if we have to move the stacks at a later date, we should be fine. It also gives us a chance to get rid of those nasty carpets, which has like 2 or 3 layers of carpet on those floors, and that it's a medical issue. It's a health issue at this point. We don't know how long it can live on the carpets. And now I can say, when you look over the stages that we sent out, we're going to do stages of materials coming in. I can't do that for a floor. I can't rip up the floor in the DVD section. So, okay, nobody walk on this area for 4 days. So we feel, and after talking last night with the response team, that we feel this is the best way to go. It's the perfect time to hit, and it's hopefully we'll be able to keep people safer. It is a lot of money, but we have it. This would not come from Buildings and Grounds, Joel. This one's going to have to come from Capital Fund, which we do have in there. So we would just have to make the motion to pull it from Capital Fund and pay it for that way. And we checked with Al. He said that was absolutely fine. That's the way to go. That's the appropriate way to do it. And he said even if at the audit we just have to say why we did it, everybody's going to have reasons why because of this virus. So there's going to be, all we're going to write down for all the exemptions, COVID. This will be one of those two. We're facing drastic times, and I think this is a really good move. It was a good suggestion, and I'm happy that we could act on it if you guys want to go for it.
Tom, I was going to ask you. I'm sorry, John.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to suggest that maybe we offer the librarians an opportunity to weed the collection before that happens. Just especially with video streaming, the way it's been, there probably are a lot of materials that can get weeded at this point. And then even consider maybe some lower shelving. So it's a little less intimidating when you walk into the library. It might be nice to have that street view when you walk in.
Yeah, that would be
just
cool.
something I was thinking about.
Cool. Yeah, we could definitely look into that too. Yep.
Christina, just out of curiosity, what do we see? What do we anticipate rolling over at the end of the budget year that we would typically put into capital funds, right, Tom?
Yeah, we typically put.
What do we predict as far as what we projected to spend and what we're going to wind up with extra?
It doesn't, whatever you have left at the end of your budget year doesn't necessarily roll into the capital fund. It just drops down into that unreserved fund. You could always make a board motion, I believe, to move some of that money into your capital. But right now, I think you had 75,000, if you go with the same budget as this year, 75,000 going into your debt service, which we don't have because we never went out on the bond. So I have moved that just to the capital account. So if you stay with the same budget, you could move another 75,000 in July. Right now, that account has 497,000 in it. So the flooring would be more than covered.
So
And then
70,
you
Let,
just put
let
it-
me let me ask a question though. It looked like at the last board meeting, and I know the numbers can change, right? But it looked like we were going to run about 85% of budget this year. Just running the math out. I know that can go up and down, but that would mean that we
Right.
have 15% left, or like 600 grand left of our 4 million. So where does that
Right.
go?
That ends up just dropping down into, it just stays in the savings account,
Mhm.
earning interest, and it's unreserved. So if you look at I don't have that, of course, that one in front of me, the budget. If you look at that budget sheet where you have the reserved funds, at one point there was a vote on all this extra money that's just sitting in the account. Some of it's reserved for certain things like roofing or computer repairs,
Yeah.
replacements like that. Everything else is just sitting in the account for nothing. Sitting there that if you need it, you can
Right.
make a motion to move it and put it where you need it.
Okay. But so the
What's
point.
going to be left at the end of this year, I don't know, because I'm waiting to see
Right.
once we open the building and we start getting shipments in and things like that.
Yeah, that'll move
The
around.
numbers could change drastically if that
Yeah.
happens in June.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Joe, like we don't know the bottom line yet, 'cause
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, we can't get shipments. They stopped shipping to us because they knew we were closed. So they just sent it back. So we never got a bill for stuff that we've ordered. So there are things out there that we've ordered and we're waiting for to come in. We've got our first FedEx delivery today in 3 months. So they're going to start coming in.
okay. Anybody have any questions or complaints or reservations about making this move?
Nope.
Okay, great. Great.
If it's a reservation, but I guess I'd rather say it than not say it. But like, I just am concerned about the noise factor that, carpets do absorb noise. So I don't think that's a reason not to do it. I absolutely think that the health benefits outweigh that 100%. And there's always something that can be done about that.
Yep.
But, that is a little bit of a bummer.
Karen, we should tell people to wear sneakers.
There you go.
Yeah, well, we can also have mats put down on the walkways and pull them every night and have them cleaned.
Yeah.
And rotate them. I mean, there are always solutions, I think, that we can come up with. We can
Right.
even
There's also like soundboards and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
something that can absorb noise, like that maybe in the future when you figure out what might be a potential problem. If it's even a problem, it could, every problem has a solution.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We redo the ceiling with sound absorbing tiles. That would be a quick one too. We just get, upgrade the tiles that we have, make them sound absorbent. Brian will go through and install the new ones over a month.
I just think that's an important quality of a library is the quietness of it.
I agree with you. Okay, so then if nobody has any complaints and questions have all been answered, let's go ahead and let's get these motions together. I need a motion to allow the director to spend $7,400 with Hildress Auto and Home Glass for custom sneeze guards as per quote number 21648 dated 5/20/2020.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Great. And can I then also get a motion to allow the director to spend $97,715.12 American with Milburn Flooring for replacing library carpeting with laminate flooring as per proposal number P2021020-2 dated May 26, 2020.
So
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. That concludes our meeting tonight. I do want to just take time out and thank Nicole and Karen and Tom and Valerie for meeting last night to go over. There have been a lot of emails that have gone back and forth and lots of reading that had to be done for us to educate ourselves and to take the time last night to summarize it all and come up with what we feel is a pretty coherent plan moving forward. I want to thank you folks very much for your time, and for everybody here who, in these extenuating circumstances, we seem to be meeting much more frequently than we have in the past. So thank you again for your continued commitment to the library, and yeah, thanks for making this easier.
My pleasure, John. Thanks.
Good.
If I can get a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:19 Eastern Daylight Time.
Motion.
I was gonna say, let's go shopping.
Yeah, put on a body cam or a GoPro, and we'll go with you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Great. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Read that stuff we sent about the from the COVID committee, and any questions, feel free to email.
All right.
Is that stuff just on Tom's email to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I just sent it, I think, at 4 or 5, just a couple hours ago, so it's the last one. If you don't see it, let me know. I'll just send it over to you again.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Later, guys.